Hello, friends and students. This is Dr. Patanjali Mishra, Assistant Professor, School of Education, welcomes you in this talk. In last lecture, I discussed about the guidance and what does it mean. In this lecture, I would be discussing about counseling. We know well that the term guidance and counseling is used interchangeably. Both the terms have different meaning. In this session, we will learn about counseling. Counseling is a wonderful 20th century invention. We live in a complex, busy and changing world. And in this world, there are many different types of experience that are difficult for people to cope with. Most of the time, we get on with life, but sometimes we are stopped in our tracks by an event or situation that we do not at that moment have the resources to sort out. Most of the time, we find ways of dealing with such problems in living by talking to family, talking to friends, talking to neighbors, or our family doctor. But occasionally their advice is not sufficient, or we are too embarrassed or ashamed to tell them what is bothering us, or we just don't have an appropriate person to turn to. In everyday life, we find counseling goes on at many levels. In a family, parents counsel their children, doctors counsel patients, lawyer counsels to their clients, and teachers to students. So let us know what counseling is. The term counseling can mean different things to different people, but in general, it is a process people seek when they want to change something in their lives or simply explore their thoughts and feelings in more depth. Counseling is a unique one-to-one relationship between two people who agree to meet privately and regularly for a period of time with the aim of restoring emotional well-being of the client. It is different from any other relationship, as it is focused 100% on the client. It allows you a safe place to be yourself and to say what you truly feel in confidence, without fear of judgment, without criticism, or without any unwanted advice. The first thing we will do here, that we will try to define counseling. So firstly here we will take up important definitions of counseling. Webster dictionary, firstly we will take up Webster dictionary's definition, and Webster dictionaries quotes that counseling means consultation, mutual interchange of opinion, and deliberating together. The second definition which we will take up is given by Edwin Lewis, and Edwin Lewis says that counseling is a process by which a troubled person, client, is helped to tell and behave in a more personally satisfying manner through interaction with an uninvolved person. The uninvolved person is counselor, who provides information and reactions which stimulate the client to develop behavior which enable him to deal more effectively with himself and his environment. The third definition is given by Wren, and Wren says that counseling is a dynamic and purposeful relationship between two people who approach a mutually defined problem with the mutual consideration of each other to the end that the younger or less mature or most troubled of the two is aided to a self-determined resolution to his problem. The next definition, and the important definition, is Searcher and Stone has given this definition, and Searcher and Stone says that counseling is an interactive process which facilitates meaningful understanding of self and environment and results in the establishment and or clarification of goals and values for future behaviors. After analyzing these definitions, we would like to conclude that what is coming out of these definitions. So, out of these definitions, we will point out certain things, and we will try to learn from that what is counseling. We see in these definitions, the first thing which is coming out is that counseling is a two-way process. I will explain you that how counseling is a two-way process. The process that occurs when a client and counselor set aside time in order to explore difficulties which may include the stressful or emotional feeling of the client. In this way, we can say that counseling is a two-way process. The second thing which come up from the definitions is that there are mutual relationships of trust between the two individuals. What does it mean? It means clearly that confidentiality is a paramount to successful counseling. Professional counselors will usually explain their policy on confidentiality. They may, however, be required by law to disclose information if they believe that there is a risk of life. The third thing which come out from these definitions is that it helps individuals to gain self-understanding, self-acceptance and self-realization. The next thing is it helps an individual to become happier, more creative and better adjusted. The act of helping the client to see things more clearly, possibly from a different viewpoint. This can enable the client to focus on feelings, experiences or behavior with the goal of facilitating positive change. Now we will take up that what counseling is not. The first thing I would like to mention here is that giving advice. Counseling is not an advice giving service. It is a supportive service that allows a client to gain understanding of self by self-exploration of their emotional issues. The second is judgmental. Counseling is not about being judgmental. The third thing is attempting to sort out the problems of the client. The fourth thing is expecting or encouraging a client to behave in a way in which the counselor may have behaved when confronted with a similar problem in their own life. Then while giving counseling, you should be clear in your mind that your experiences should not be conveyed in a manner to your client that you should behave in that particular way. Fifth thing is getting emotionally involved with the client. You should always be careful in this regard that you should not get involved emotionally with your client, since it will affect the counseling sessions of your client. The sixth thing is looking at a client's problem from your own perspective based on your own value system. You should not impose your own value system on your client, or you should not look at the client's problem from your own perspective. The seventh point is counseling is not a time-filling service for those people who are perceived as being crazy because they are experiencing problems in coping with personal and emotional issues. The eighth point is counseling is not the magic answer to life's problems. An instant solution is also not found in counseling program or sessions. Counseling provides an opportunity to gain a better understanding of the ways in which positive changes can create a means of exploring difficulties and of working towards resolving personal issues. The ninth point is although counseling provides a tool to explore difficult personal issues, it is not a supportive emotional crutch that enables you to carry on with life without a care in the world. Counseling should be used as a supplementary support, and this means that anyone attending counseling sessions must be prepared to put in the required time and effort to work towards creating emotional improvements. Now I will discuss that what activities counseling involves. Counseling basically constitutes the three activities, and these three activities are first one is information, and second one is advising, and third one is counseling. I will explain you that what is the meaning of information and what is the meaning of advising. Informing means the role of the counselor is to give appropriate and correct information to the clients. For example, you are a student and you need counseling to select your course for the future. Here, the role of the counselor is to give you information about the availability of different courses and its future prospects. Now I will tell you that what is advising. When we after informing, the second stage is advising, and in this stage the counselor suggests appropriate course of action. Here the counselor will offer you several options and recommends one according to your aim or interest. For example, if your aim is to be an engineer, the counselor will suggest you a course related to applied mathematics. What is counseling? In this stage of counseling, the counselor helps the students to clarify his needs, feelings or motivations so that he can make the appropriate decision for himself. For example, if you will tell you have no aim or you cannot decide what you will do in future, so the counselor will ask you, if you are not sure about what to do in future but you must want to do something interesting, so describe about your idea. Like this, the counselor can motivate you to find out your idea and can recommend you the course according to your interest. In next session, I will be discussing about what is the difference between guidance and counseling. Thank you.